I'm Derekroddy. I reside in Florida, USA, and I guess I'm known as some type of crazy metal drummer. Well, it's not anything different about extreme metal drumming or death metal drumming or black metal drumming or whatever. I just don't like all of the subcategories, so I just lump it all under extreme metal. It's easier that way. I mean, you have the double bass and the blast beat stuff, the skank beat Slayer type thing. I mean, I even consider Slayer to be an extreme metal band. I just think anything that pushes the limits, whether it's metal or jazz or blues or whatever. And of course, you don't really have a lot of guys pushing the blues envelope. But outside of you get into these like competitive, not necessarily with other drummers, but with yourself, and that's how it was for me. So I would just push myself, to the edges of my physical capability, So I think that's how a lot of this style of metal was born in that way, was just pushing the individual self to a point that, that you haven't been before. And regardless of whether it's speed or, it doesn't necessarily have to be fast to be intense, or to be extreme. So yeah, just kind of what I said earlier in my clinic as well, about having the identity, and the sound to go along with this type of thing. And it's a very interesting style of music because I can overplay and not get fired. So I can play as much as I want, and nobody says to me, "Hey, stop playing, don't do that." Any other gig, so that's why I enjoy the extreme metal. When everybody else takes a right turn, I go left, or I try to. I'll give you an example. Horacio Hernandez, El Negro, right? Great player, Latin drummer. I saw the very first clinic he ever did in America. It was in Cuba. He was from Cuba, and he came from Cuba to Miami, right? And he literally was playing with sticks, not drumsticks, like sticks from a branch, from a tree, And he had this whole left foot thing going, and it just blew me away. And there was 400 drummers, all with their cell phones in the air. Nobody had ever seen anything like that. So I immediately thought, man, when I play blast beats, I play generally with one foot just as the right hand would be playing the ride. My right foot is playing along with that, and the left hand is, in between it. So the left leg is kind of open. So I thought to myself, what would happen if I was to take, left foot patterns and put them over the top of blast beats, And I haven't heard anybody do up until that point that I was, when I started doing that. I never heard anybody, doing that type of thing. So I figured that's the perfect opportunity. Let me jump in and try to do something like that, So I'm always trying to think of, things that I could bring into the extreme metal music that maybe necessarily wasn't there before,